Hi, I'm Meg.
And I'm David.
Welcome to The Average Vegans, a podcast to help you live an attainable vegan lifestyle. We're not the ripped influencer vegans you hear about in other podcasts. We're just some ordinary people living in the South, eating plants and loving animals.
All right, so on this episode, we're going to talk about how being vegan can help your heart. Not just your heart, but your heart.
Every time. You gotta be weird.
Episode and heart.
This is going to be the start of a new series where we're going to talk about how being vegan can help different parts of your body and how.
Yeah, it's
right.
That's one thing you hear of people using a plant-based diet to reverse heart disease and reverse cancers. We never use the word cure. It's not a cure, right. But it helps reverse. Even Dr. Greger, he has a lot of examples. It's because especially with cardiovascular disease, where you'll see blockages, and a lot of times the blockages are considered widowmakers. So they're like 90% blockages. And a plant-based diet helps reduce the inflammation, which also, as we will talk about when it deals with bad cholesterol, can help reduce bad cholesterol, and since reduces those blockages and reverses those issues. You see that a lot too, and like a lot of the vegan documentaries go deep, especially the heart, because
they do, yeah.
Because animal products are leading causes of a lot of heart disease, cardiovascular disease. Carotid artery clogs, Alzheimer's, testicular cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer. Such and literally, you can see these reversals in these diseases and these ailments when people start switching to a plant-based diet. Diabetes too. It's crazy how much a change like that can make such a big difference.
It makes me think of that documentary we were talking about in whatever episode that was. I should have that written down right here.
How dare you?
The one where it had a bunch of people in like New York, I think it was, and they followed them along while they followed a plant-based. And it was like in the 1990s. Do you remember that one we talked about?
Was it What the Health?
Was it? No, because that's like the documentary one.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, and it makes me think of it because there's such a drastic change that a vegan diet can do to someone that's suffering with heart issues or any other kinds of health issues. So that's the beginning of our series. This one's about your heart, but we have other...
Your love muscle.
It's going to sound weird. We have other body parts we're going to talk about. Well, it sounds weird.
Both recording and not recording. It's just kind of what we do. That's just...
And we are not doctors. Let's start off with that, obviously.
Yes, no.
We don't play them on a podcast either. But we...
Well done. Well done.
Come on.
That's a me joke. Well done. I was about to say something like that. Good job. I'm rubbing off. That's nice.
I'm stealing David's dorky jokes.
Gotta do it.
No, we encourage you to do your own research, obviously. Talk to your own personal doctor about things, of course. But we've done some of our own research, more David than I, because you all know how David is. He's like a little scientist over here. So
obsessed is more like it.
So we have a bunch of information, tips, tricks, just a bunch of stuff we're going to throw at you that we hope will help you get a better rein on taking care of your heart. I have had some issues that I thought were related to my heart. Thankfully, they were not, but I have a tendency to faint, which I know is a weird sentence, but I'm a fainter. I have been since I was a child. I have probably fainted close to 15 times in my life. And whenever I say that, people are like, that's a lot. And I just really? I didn't know that was a lot.
Yeah, 0 times. No, okay. I did it once. That was heat exhaustion. That was different.
Yeah. I tend to faint sometimes. And it turned out to be that, I'm hypoglycemic. So my blood sugar drops and whatever. But for a while, people doctors were worried that I had a heart issue. Mainly, I woke up one night and I went to use the restroom. And while I was going to the bathroom, I fainted and I hit my like face forward on the ground. I broke my nose,
Oh,
blood
shit.
everywhere. I had to wear like heart monitor for like 24 hours. Nothing came of it. I had to go to a cardiologist and have an ultrasound of my heart. Still, it was fine. So they were just like, you should probably eat more and also like don't stand up too quickly in the middle of the night if you
Mm.
can avoid it because you mess yourself up. But I have taken care of myself and it's been a long time since I've fainted. And
Good.
I can tell if it's going to happen too. The
Yeah.
last time was at a concert in front of lots of people. It was
I think you mentioned that to me
highly
before.
embarrassing.
I think you
It's
mentioned that
one
to me
of
once. Yeah.
oh the worst. So
All right.
embarrassing.
Well.
So thankfully I don't have any heart issues. But I have had moments where I was terrified that I did. So it's definitely something that I think about
And
in my day-to-day life.
now with your plant-based diet, you're less inclined to have heart scares, which is nice.
Go me.
Woo woo. I, with my see, I haven't really had any personal heart issues that I'm aware of, but I knew heart disease and things like that. Heart issues do run in my family. I've had most of the older members of my family, past and present, have been on some sort of heart medication. Have had like heart surgeries and open heart surgeries. My father being among that group. Love you, Dad, but gotta tell you stories, kind of inspire the people. Um, but he not only with having a heavy animal product based diet, he also was a smoker at the time, which also smoking actually can exacerbate heart conditions as well. Could require your heart to work a lot harder
Mm-hmm.
to move, to basically carry the oxygen to move around, because you're not able your lungs are messed up. Um, among other reasons, but that definitely causes other issues. Um, no, but he had a triple bypass. He had a widowmaker, and of course, and I talked about this briefly on the show about how like that was like my catalyst to start getting myself better.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go vegan after that, but I cut out like cows and pigs from the whole deal. I cut out like fast food and like a lot of like added
Right.
fats and oils, and changed the oils I was using at the time. Um, so this was like 12, 15 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. So and that led me to watching a lot more documentaries about like plant based diets and how they affect the heart. When I was doing research, because again I've mentioned how I went vegan because I did the research and realized I was full of it, and part of that is understanding like, oh, okay, animal based foods makes you sick. It clogs your arteries. It causes inflammation of the arteries. It causes inflammation of your joints. It leads to Alzheimer's. It leads to cancers. That's the thing I mentioned earlier. And I'm like, plants either don't do that and or prevent/reverse that.
There you
And
go.
so
Mm-hmm.
something that makes you sick when you consume it, either immediately over time, is a poison by by definition, right?
Right.
Something
Exactly.
that doesn't do that is food.
I love this.
It's that basic logic of like, if it makes you sick, that's poison. If it makes you not sick and make and prevent you from getting sick, that's
It's food.
medicine. Let food be thy medicine be thy food. So that's what food
Love it.
is. So why would I be consuming something that I know is making me sick? I know is not good for you. That's literally on 4th of July, which we didn't like. 4th of July came and went, and I didn't even bring up my big anniversary. But on 4th of July, 9 years ago now, I was like, I took a bite of a chicken sandwich and went, this is gonna make me sick. I know this isn't good for me. Like, I really
Mm-hmm.
have the bite in my mouth. I'm like, what the heck am I doing right now? And I just and spit it out, and I just ate my kale. Yeah, I just ate ate all my veggies. And I was like, this is stupid. And that was it, done. Because how dumb it was. I was already eating poison for no real reason.
Right. And after seeing your dad suffer, you were like, this is dumb.
Yeah,
Why am I doing this? Like, I
yeah,
could end up like, suffering like that too, or like any of the other members of your family. And I'm so glad that, you learned from that to try to avoid that and made this
Yeah.
big life change.
Yeah.
So
And he's
maybe dad will listen to this one episode.
No, even then he probably just mess with me about it. Because
Come
he
on.
still eats the same way. My mom's gotten better. She's gotten him to like I think she uses like vegan butter when she makes things now. She does a couple little
Aw.
things to reduce it, but he's not going to make the change. He's not going to. Even though
Fine.
he still takes heart medication, he still every now and then has to go and get stents replaced because they clogs him up or something, and he just
Ugh.
he'll still put his arm around me. I love you, son, but I'm not going my deathbed smell like tofu and bean sprouts. I'm like, all right, man, that's cool. Does that scar on your chest ever itch?
All the
What you doing,
time.
man?
Oh, goodness.
So it's part of it. But I mean, I know for a fact that it would reverse it. I know for a fact that if he would make that switch, his doctor would go, "What are you doing, man? It's crazy. Like we got to take out some medication, But
Right. God.
and they feed into the whole like, well, you got to take it forever, son, because what you're taking, you can never come off of it. I'm like, yeah, that's not true.
That's not how that works.
No.
No.
I'm not anti-pharma. I mean, medication and medicine is extremely important. I have
It is,
I have
yes.
issues and / concerns with long-term medications that can be reversed. Like obviously, if you have they take antidepressants, things that cannot be quote cured or reversed, that's different.
Yeah.
But if if you're taking heart medication because you won't eat more vegetables, that's something really different.
Silly. That's silly. Let's
Yeah.
just be real. That's
I
silly.
can understand being a stopgap and while you're getting things right, but that's a whole other conversation, I think.
Oh, goodness. Oh, and you know what? The fact that I haven't fainted since I became vegan is also a sign
Yeah.
that eating fruits and vegetables and whole grains is the way to go.
Yeah.
Come
There you
on,
go.
follow us. Be like us.
Good sugars, healthy fats, man. Come on.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
There you go. Kinda
So we did some
unleash and
research.
release. Yes.
Found some studies. Mayo Clinic, which David has actually inadvertently worked for, right?
Yeah, that was actually just weird because I actually go to the Mayo Clinic and like we had to interview people and the clients and stuff, and then we stayed there for like a few days and went around and like
So jealous.
it was awesome. It was really cool, really pretty areas in Minnesota, I think it was.
Yeah, isn't it like Rochester, Minnesota?
Yes.
Because I remember
Yeah.
because I was like, that is weird.
Yeah, and the whole town is like built around the Mayo Clinic, and almost everyone there is an employee. And it's almost like it's not cultish, but it was like I love working here. Isn't it great? I love it here. I'm like wow, but like that's a place where like I could hardly find any vegan options, and people are like, what do you do? I'm like, your head of cardiology in this hospital is a vegan and promotes plant-based diets. There's articles all over the place. That's like,
What is happening?
why am I the weird one? Like you guys should be the freaks. What's happening here?
Oh
Yeah,
no.
but
I don't like that.
but the people we're dealing with were in their IT security side. They weren't the doctors, so it's
Right,
different.
exactly.
However, they have found those. They looked at 11 different studies that actually showed that plant-based diets help people significantly improve both their cholesterol level and their weight, which makes a lot of sense,
Yes.
especially helping with your weight because you have increased fiber, you have increased energy, and fiber is also known to help with heart health, as we'll talk about. It also aids in weight loss because it helps kind of flush you out. It also helps with weight control and your body processing and processing body fat, and also fiber helps with spikes in your glucose, which also would help with diabetes. But diabetes is a completely different topic we'll talk about eventually.
Yes, eventually, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they found that people eat more fruit obviously lower their risk of developing hypertension or high blood pressure. I mean, that makes sense too. None of these studies are like, shocking to us, but they've got to be to other people if they would really just listen. They just listen.
Right. That's
Just listen.
and it's and along the same lines with putting high blood pressure. The same I guess in Mayo Clinic again, having 95 different studies that found that eating fruits and vegetables. I lost my brain just took It's when you start rattling facts off top of your head, your brain has a beat. Anyway, so they had these studies. I think it was 95 studies, if I remember correctly, that eating fruits and vegetables regularly actually reduced cardiovascular disease, on top of the high blood pressure and hypertension issues being resolved there. Again,
Love
that's
it.
good. Again, it's fruits and vegetables, which is carbohydrates. That's good sugar. You need it. Your carbs. Your brain needs the sugar. That's your brain's a giant ball of fat. It's like what 5 to 8 pounds of just solid
So are your boobs.
globs. First off, I am going to the gym. All right, I am working on
You, damn it! You took my joke and made it funnier. I hate you.
it. Make them laugh. Make them laugh.
Okay, fine. Go on.
But uh, but yeah, so fruits and vegetables have the cardiovascular. Again, a lot of that goes towards your fiber, potassium, things like that. Again, we're going to talk more about those pieces, but a lot of that helps reduce your bad cholesterol. It helps increase your good cholesterol. It also helps your body flush out the bad cholesterol. And think about it. We need to bear in mind when it comes to cholesterol is humans make their own. We need cholesterol to make cells in our body,
Right.
but humans make our own. So we don't need dietary cholesterol.
Oh goodness. You can probably go to the Mayo Clinic and find a million different studies and research reports that they've done about how eating a plant-based diet can change the way your heart functions, make it all better, and it can help like reduce the risk of chronic health or heart disease. I don't know why I said it's that. My
I'm
mouth.
telling you, man, when you start
Words.
rattling it off, the tongue tied.
And I do have, I think my grandmother on my dad's side, she had some heart issues from what I remember. We didn't really talk about health stuff on that side of the family very often, but she's also very Italian.
Right.
And she ate a lot of meat and a lot of cheese. So I'm sure that had something to contribute to it. Yeah. So I just hope that more people will listen to these kinds of podcasts and read this kind of research because, heart disease isn't it like the leading cause of death in America?
Yeah, it's
something like that.
A leading cause of death, yeah.
Terrifying, and especially for women, it is our leading cause too. And it scares me that people don't take their heart health as important as maybe other things, other parts of their body. Like there's people that are like, oh, I would never smoke. I cherish my lungs. But it's like, then you go eat a burger and it's like, what about your poor little heart?
What you're doing to yourself at home?
Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
Well, it's fine. I've heard this quite a few times, especially from people much older than myself. They're like, well, in my day, we didn't have all these heart issues. We didn't have all these problems, and it's just junk food and all this. And depending on where you're from, it's true because and this is start to sound like conspiracy theory, but it's out there. The numbers are there. They're out there. When it comes to setting up the food pyramid, setting up what I'm talking about mainly on Americans. So we do have listeners outside the country, the United States. So this may not pertain to you, but at least in the United States, we have lobbies that when the FDA puts out a recommendation for how much different things you should eat and food pyramids, these lobbyists have interjected meat and dairy and things like that into these on a higher level because they just shove a bunch of money and down politicians and down the organizational throats. A lot of times the organizations are actually they're on their board to make these decisions.
Yes.
So it gets added
it's
to
infuriating.
It. And it's gotten worse over the years. So we've actually seen a correlation when you started putting these food pyramids out where this was happening, where people's dairy and meat intake increased because they were told, oh, you need to have a lot of meat, a lot of protein. People assume protein only come from animal sources. So in doing that, we do have like this higher increase in these issues because like my mom, like my grandfather, my mom's dad, he was like in his like 90s and he was he passed of old age more than anything else. And like but he was also a farmer and most of his life all he ate was vegetables because meat was like rare and you ate small portions of it, but you ate mostly, especially there were times where you couldn't get it. You had to can your fruits and vegetables and then that's what you ate. That was your whole, sometimes eat vegan just because that's what you had.
Right, exactly.
But it's become, not only has animal-based products become more prevalent and easier to obtain, again, mainly especially in the United States, we have lobbies that push, you need to have this, like the other white meat and like beef, it's what's for dinner and that sort of stuff,
Or drink milk for your
which is
bones. No.
bullshit.
Oh, so gross.
Right. So it's this narrative. It's marketing. It's marketing, marketing, marketing. And I mean, people who do marketing are terrible people.
Shut
I'm
up.
just dude, I work for
I
agencies.
don't do that kind of
No, I'm
marketing.
messing with you.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're straight. But you're not gonna. I gotta give you ration sometimes. But and that's what it is. So it's become so prevalent, and so we've had a lot more issues like heart issues and health issues. I mean, my generation, the millennial generation, is the first generation that has a lower life expectancy than the previous generation, and that is true. Like we have a lower life expectancy because our diets are so jacked up because of all of this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's the first time that we've had a lower life expectancy in the generation than the previous ones because of
Wow.
all of this. So because of fast food and food deserts,
Yes.
which food deserts and fast food that pushes. I mean, good thing Burger King has these options now. And a lot of places are adding vegan burgers. That's because the market's there. But yeah, so a lot of that's causing a lot of health issues, and a lot of it's just animal based products causing these issues. It was like 12 of the 14 leading causes of death in humans. It's 12 of them of the 14 or 15. 12 of them are based on your health being affected by consuming animal products, and your heart or something related to your heart, whether it be the carotid artery disease or your cardiovascular health, anything like that, which is related to your heart because your blood flows through all of it. Is what leads to pretty much all of them.
So scary.
Yeah, and it's all preventable.
Right.
And understand, nothing is zero. You can eat a vegan diet from the day you exit the womb, and you can still have a heart attack. Nothing is zero.
Right.
Because I'm predisposed to heart disease, flat out, because I've had family members that have it. My dad has, my mom takes heart medication. She has a stent in her heart too, so like I'm predisposed to heart disease. So, and I tell people like this, well, you can't prevent heart attacks and all this stuff just by plant-based diet. You can't be perfect. I'm like, no, you can't. But if you're predisposed to it, especially predisposed to it, making changes to move yourself further away from that is going to give yourself a better chance, right? So if I say, I'm making numbers up, but just say I'm predisposed, so I have a 30% chance of having heart disease and having a heart attack. So I have a 30% chance by default being predisposed. Let's just say that's the fact, right? And if I continue having a pattern where my diet is crap and I'm eating like meat and dairy and eggs and all that, that 30% is going to get worse and get more and more likely that I'm going to have an issue. But if I can do that 30% is less effective because I'm not doing anything to exacerbate that problem.
Right.
My 30% doesn't go to zero. I'm just not risking that chance at 30% becoming 100. So I'm saying
makes sense.
Because if with no clogs I'm at 30%, as long as I don't add to that 30% by adding clogs, I'm not going to get any higher. So I'm never going to be at zero because I'm predisposed. Lung cancer. There's lung cancer in my family. I don't smoke. Lung cancer in my family. If I smoke, then I'm going to exacerbate that and run the risk of having lung cancer. Am I at a 0% chance? No, nobody is. No 0%. But no, there's no point poking the bear, right?
Right, exactly. Try to minimize those risks as much as possible.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Mitigate the risk, exactly.
Yeah, as much as you can. And if that means you eat a little bit more vegetables, a little bit more fruit with your diet, then oh no, gosh, I'm pretty sure you can handle
broccoli. How dare I eat spinach and broccoli? Although cook your spinach, don't eat it raw. Seriously.
Well, let's talk about some stuff then. Let's go into this. So why does a plant-based diet work? As David has talked about, fiber is one of them. We've mentioned it like 4 times now. So fiber is definitely a big part of why this helps.
Yeah. So fiber.
Explain this.
Okay. So plants are chock full of my phone's being weird. Are chock full of soluble fiber. Soluble fiber is dissolved in water, and so it's easier to it's easier to digest because it's not as rough. But it actually forms a gel-like substance as it's being digested, well, I mean, you've eaten chia seeds, right? It's all jelly.
Yeah, I just never thought about.
Yeah. So
Ah.
when it starts getting broken down, it forms a gel-like substance. So not only is it good for colon health because it makes you regular, and it helps kind of clean you out and kind of keep you, all fresh and clean. Relatively speaking, but it also slows down the absorption of cholesterol, and it reduces the amount of cholesterol produced by your liver as
That's
being processed,
amazing.
right? And as doing so, it also means it's going to lower your bad cholesterol. Not only that, you're not as long as you're not consuming animal products, you're not ingesting additional bad cholesterol anyway, but it reduces your bad cholesterol it reduces your bad cholesterol. So it means it's also going to reduce the plaque buildup in your heart. So that's another misnomer. Everyone's like, oh, it's cholesterol. Cholesterol, no, like saturated fats, which which is in our list. Cholesterol are what clogs your arteries. But what happens is the animal-based products causes inflammation in the system, which causes inflammation in your heart, which damages your endothelial cells. Which, when they rupture, that's what the plaque from the cholesterol and saturated fats grab onto. That's what causes your blockage. That's why when you switch to a plant-based diet, it reduces your inflammation and allows your heart to basically heal. And I'm using very generic terms in this sense. Heal so that blockage can actually pass through, and your body can, using the additional fiber, reduces the absorption of the cholesterol, so you don't have those issues, and it passes out through you. Only that, it reduces the cholesterol that's produced from the liver.
Fiber is the one, y'all. You need to just up your fiber.
Up your fiber intake. It also reduces insulin spikes when you're consuming carbohydrates. That's why you don't. That's why fruit juice. You be careful with that, because fruit juice is pure. There's a lot of nutrients. You're removing the fiber, so you're gonna bump that insulin level. One time I drink a fruit juice is if I feel like my blood sugar's really low and I'm kind of like tired and I'm not feeling very good. I'll grab a fruit juice. And I'll drink that because it'll kick me up because I'm bumping that sugar up, right? I'm getting insulin spike, and it's gonna get some energy going again. But having that fiber in there, it's actually gonna slow down that absorption, slow down your digestion. That's gonna and lower your insulin spikes. So that can help with diabetes issues and preventing diabetes as well. Fiber's the man, dude.
For real.
Don't eat too much of it, man. It'll make your stomach hurt.
I love it. Yes, that's so true. Be careful. Especially when you're a new vegan. Be very careful.
Oh, yeah. Lessons get learned by new vegans every day. Like, why do I feel like
we
this?
should do an episode on, things to expect when going vegan.
Oh, my God.
Because I got some stuff.
Right.
Another thing you can focus on for your heart health is potassium. It improves your blood pressure. So you can get some leafy greens, some bananas, all that kind of yummy stuff to increase your potassium. Wow.
Potassium?
Wow.
Potassium.
Words are hard tonight. I don't know what's happening.
Is that new vegan religion, potassium? I was trying to look up why this lowers your blood pressure, and I don't know if I got any information on why it does. But I mean, just potassium in general. It's good for like muscle cramps and stuff like that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was like. The thing is, like, if you're having cramps, eat a banana. Because banana's high in potassium. There's other like leafy greens that are high in potassium as well, as we stated. But potassium actually does aid in lowering of your blood pressure. And it's found in pretty much all plant foods. Not all plant foods, but most plant foods has it to some degree. So as long as you wide variety out, you'll get a fair amount of it. So not only with like fiber and potassium, cholesterol is another major factor. As I've talked about cholesterol a lot, because that's a really, really big factor, and it irks me a lot. People will tell me, well, you got to eat, like animals products and beef and chickens for the cholesterol. You got to have cholesterol. It's important for you. And you're right. Again, cholesterol is how your body makes cells. You need cholesterol. We make our own.
Right.
We literally make our own. You need zero dietary cholesterol. Zero. And unless there is, again, these are all blanket statements, of course. If you have some sort of hormonal issue or medical condition that requires you taking additional cholesterol, that's different. But most people don't need any dietary cholesterol. We make our own good, make our own bad, because it's your cholesterol, right? You never have a level 0 of bad cholesterol, no matter what your diet is and how much you exercise. It's never 0. Good exercise and proper diet. So your proper diet will lower your bad cholesterol and increase your good cholesterol, right? And good cholesterol helps flush out the bad, right?
Right.
So
Exactly. I knew that part.
yeah. So
Got
you
me.
want the good cholesterol. You don't want the bad cholesterol. So when you ingest cholesterol from sources that already have it in it, you're taking in more than your body needs,
Right.
and you don't need it. You're not taking the good cholesterol, you're taking in the bad, right? You're not gonna. It's not one for one. It doesn't work that way. Um, so I have your dietary cholesterol. I have our notes. And that's the thing I thought before. Dietary cholesterol in general, saturated fats and cholesterol, is what aids in blocking the arteries through damaging of your heart, the walls of your heart, and they get damaged, they swell. That's where they grab onto. That's what you get blockages from. Plant foods are going to reduce inflammation, help artery strength, and that will actually so any cholesterol you have in your system is not going to grab onto, and your body can take care of the bad cholesterol, get it out of your system, and no heart attacks. Yay!
Yay. I don't think a lot of people realize that we make our own cholesterol.
Yeah.
Like I think that's probably an interesting fact for a lot of people. So there you go. Fun fact, quiz
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I think we've talked before. I believe it's made in the liver. So
Very interesting. David's
Quite.
schooling me, guys, on all kinds of things. Yeah, he knows more about this than I do. And it's very interesting to me too, just like I hope it is for you guys.
So yeah, and I usually put saturated fats and cholesterol together because usually if you're consuming saturated fats, you're getting cholesterol along with it.
Yes.
And again, it also aids in cardiovascular disease, just like cholesterol does. If you're, people will say, well, chicken's good because it's lower in fat, but it's actually it's high in saturated fat and high in cholesterol. So you're not like out of the woods just because you're eating a bird. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
But technically, birds are reptiles.
What the hell?
Birds are reptiles.
David's just dropping weird
Birds
info left and right.
Are close.
Birds creep me out. So
Okay. So
oh my God.
birds are more closely related to alligators, and alligators are related to lizards.
I don't like that.
Birds are reptiles. It's like a thing. Like it's like
It makes them even creepier.
yeah, like legit they're reptiles. Like they have
I'm
like,
not a fan.
everything about them is reptile. It's crazy. Anyway, I've been fascinated. I've been watching a guy on TikTok. I was like, that's amazing. And like his whole TikTok, actually what his job is like paleontology and like studying evolution. That's his whole deal. And he's like
Cool.
he's like, birds are reptiles. I will die on that hill. And he just like broke it down. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
That's fascinating.
Well,
if you can find that TikTok, we'll link to it.
It's crazy. I have to find it. Yeah, birds, reptiles.
Because I want to see it too. Because I'm just like, birds are creepy little things.
I'll find it. Yeah,
they freak me out. So now it makes total sense.
Yeah. All right, that was a detour, but I love that fact. That's my favorite fact right now. The birds, reptiles.
Listen,
So
gotta throw in the good facts in there.
I throw them in there, baby. It's little gems, little unrelated gems. That's what I do. That's how I roll. So, obviously, a lot of foods, really any plant foods, are going to improve heart health. There are specific ones that are known to help with heart disease and blood pressure. And the good thing is,
and they're also delicious.
You can make a really good salad with
right?
this, honestly. So those main ones
this
are.
This is a good list.
This is good. Blueberries, apples, pears, raisins, and grapes. Kind of one and the same to a degree. Citrus fruits.
I laughed when I saw that.
Yeah, citrus fruits and leafy greens. I mean, you can do a salad, little like vinaigrette, or maybe some vegan blue cheese on that bad boy. Man, I'm throwing down.
There you go. Perfect.
Tofu. Man,
oh my gosh, that looks delicious. Just in general, give me all of that together, please.
Right.
And then you could throw in some nuts.
Yeah. On
top of your little fruit leafy green salad. Nuts are also a great source of healthy stuff for your heart. It lowers your LDL and your triglyceride. Improves of your arteries. I love nuts, but not all nuts. I'm very picky about them. You're not. You like all nuts.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't think of one.
I don't like peanuts. Those are my least favorite.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I know it sounds so weird because I love peanut butter, but I don't like just a basic ass peanut. No, thank you.
Yeah, I like peanuts if it's like in a mix and a handful of stuff. But if it's like, you want some peanuts? I'm like, you got any options? No? All right, fine. Um, but like, I think like cashews, macadamia, and like Brazil nuts are like my top three. Although I found out like Brazil
I
nuts are
like
really hot.
pistachios too.
Pistachios are really good. It's the
Yeah.
pistachios are like are the old man snack.
Whatever.
Did you know this is interesting? Do you know that
I love.
you know the red or the red slash pink pistachios? Remember those? You know those aren't a thing. Like those don't
Aren't they just
exist.
dyed?
Yeah, so
Right.
we were actually getting pistachios over from overseas, and the quality was really really bad. So companies were dyeing them like this pink color to hide the low quality of pistachios, and selling them as like it's crazy pink pistachio. It's like no, they're actually just trash, and because they didn't travel well, and where we got them from, and they're just super bad quality, they would just dye them.
God, we're so dumb.
And people bought them. Like I ate a ton of them
We're
when I was
so
younger.
dumb. We
Yeah,
fall for the dumbest. Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like
Wow.
people like go.
Well, we're all so stupid.
Well, it's like when people go to the grocery store and they buy like fish and they're like the pink fish. All that, like no, fish is gray. Like if somebody goes and
Yeah,
buys fish
that's
to
colored.
consume it, it's colored because no, it's gray and people don't want to buy gray. It's like salmon, which I don't people shouldn't buy it anyway. But yeah, like a lot of the food is like has these colors and gases and stuff applied to them to like make them more palatable to us. So it's wild how we do that. Yeah, it's going back to stuff we actually do eat though. Your blueberries, your apples, your pears, and leafy greens. The reason those are really good for cardiovascular blood pressure, as we said above, they're high in potassium. They're gonna be higher in fiber, and they're gonna be lower in. They have no cholesterol, obviously, no saturated fats. And with nuts, as you were saying, they also reduce risk of your blood clots. But one reason they're really good is they're also they have such a good fats, mono and polysaturated fats. As well as your omega fatty acids, vitamin E, and your L-arginine, which I had to make sure I write that down, which aids in artery wall health.
Ooh.
That's why they're good for your artery health because of the
Yeah, they're
L-arginine.
really good. Yeah, that's really interesting that they're like specific nuts are specifically good for the lining
Yeah,
in the walls of your arteries. Like
yeah.
that is so fascinating to me. Like I love that.
It's
I love that scientists have figured that out too. That's so cool.
Yeah, one thing I always tell people
And
like.
who does?
So yeah, I always tell people like I can watch trail mix, especially like because trail mix tends to be higher in like nuts and stuff like that. I love to hell out of trail mix. But you be careful because nuts and most nuts are very high in fat. They're also high in calorie. So if you're doing trail mix, anything with has nuts in them like that, be careful of your serving sizes. Because it's easy to eat a giant bag of trail mix because it's so good. It's like dried fruit and peanuts and cashews and all this stuff. And you're like, it's good for you, but you're also like eating like 2 days worth of calories in a single sitting without thinking about it. So you gotta be really careful when you're doing like if nuts is like something you're eating for your health. I mean, you should be eating for your health, but if you're eating them as a snack, be mindful of your serving sizes. And I mean, I'm not trying to give anybody a food complex. Like me, there's always a fat kid inside me. There's always a husky kid in me. It's like let's eat all the snacks. So that's why I don't keep snacks in the house because I will eat them all. And also make sure I don't get up like as big as I used to be. I don't like have those in the house. I know I will eat an entire bag of trail mix, so I have to like hide it from myself and forget it exists. but
Or gummies,
or
as we
gummies.
have figured out.
Yeah, I have an empty bag of licorice on my desk actually because I got a little. I don't know. I got like I want something to snack on a couple days ago, and now I have no licorice. But it wasn't that bad.
Is that black licorice?
Heck yeah, it's black licorice.
Ugh.
I'll take some.
Gross.
I'll take some about this later.
Gross. We need to put up a poll on our Instagram and be like, "Do you like black licorice?
Are you a
yes
monster?
or
So is
no?"
David.
And we'll see. We'll see.
Like I've always been like that too. Like even when I was little,
Do it.
I would hunt. When I was little, I'd hunt down the black jelly beans. I've always liked black licorice. I've always liked that.
What?
Flavor. Like you remember the smell markers? You know about the smell
Yes,
markers?
and I would avoid that one.
The black one was licorice. I love the black one. That and the brown was cinnamon. The black one and the cinnamon were my favorites, man.
You know what's crazy is you are smelling that right now. If you have ever smelled either one of those markers,
Yeah,
you can smell it clear as day right now. Oh, that's so
it's
freaking
weird.
weird.
Yeah, I didn't like cherry because cherry didn't smell
Gross.
like anything. It just smelled like a marker. I was like, this is stupid. This doesn't even smell like cherry. But but anyway, back
Oh
to
my
it. So,
gosh.
uh, eat the rainbow and
I love
okay.
it.
There's a detours of markers and
Oh
stuff. Oh, I
gosh.
was little. I sniffed markers.
I know.
That explains so much. God.
My God. Oh, I love it. This is the best.
Ugh.
When you're eating those nuts, make sure they're not salted. Because it can be easy to just grab and not check. No, David, don't be dirty.
No, I've said this podcast is getting adult real
I can
fast.
see you trying to fight it. Don't get the salty nuts, guys. Because
I'm
that's
gonna go
also
step
one
out
of
of
the
the room.
tips to help your heart is to watch your salt intake. We were talking before the podcast started, and I have a problem using salt because I have been so conditioned to think that, like, obviously too much salt is bad. So like I get freaked out if I use any salt because I'm like, how much of that is like accumulated throughout my day? So like my husband will yell at me. I will put garlic and pepper and all kinds of other seasonings, but I'm just like, oh, salt. And he's like, could you just season my food a little bit? So
See,
you can use salt. Just be careful of your intake, please.
I don't I'm not as
Don't be a spaz like Megan.
I don't eat a lot of things that are high in sodium anyway, so I don't really think about it too much. I'm like really weird about like things that have sodium already in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just let my ancestors tell me how much salt to use. I'll just go like a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And here's something I do, and I don't care if anybody can gross out. I only cook for myself, so it's not like I'm like cooking for people, so it doesn't matter. But whenever I use I have a little jar of salt that I season with, so I use my hands to reach and grab my pinch of salt, and throw it in, and then I go lick the salt.
Right.
I like I love salty stuff, so I actually will lick the salt off my often.
Apparently.
I lick the salt off my fingers like, oh man, I used to pink Himalayan sea salt. It's good. Yeah, I don't watch my sodium intake, but again, I don't
not my thing.
I don't consume a lot of sodium anyway, so I'm not super worried about it. But you make a very, very, very valid point. Although Megan, you need to season your food, put salt in there. It's okay.
I know. I need to use more salt.
Sorry.
I need to use more salt. I need to focus. We can do it.
Yeah, I believe in you.
It's gonna be okay. Yeah, my husband will be like, "Wow, it's even better this time." I'm like, "Well, I used a common seasoning."
You need salt. You need sodium in your diet. It's actually really very important, especially for like muscle cramps, and also it's used by your brain and your muscles to create those electrical impulses from sodium to actually move around and be a person. So you need that stuff.
Fine, God. Don't be mad. So another vegan thing that helps with your heart, and I just learned this tonight, guys, soy. Oh my gosh, listen to this. So the protein in soybeans has been shown to lower your total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol levels. I have several sources to prove this. But I just thought that was really interesting because there's so much negative press about soy.
Right.
There's always somebody who's going to be like, oh, soy. But like this one example of how it can help your heart is something that I think people will just like glance over. They won't really pay attention to it. But that's a really important thing that you can't just ignore, and you can't just be like, oh, all soy is bad. Obviously, it has benefits. Even on WebMD, it says it can lower your LDL cholesterol by like 3%. Which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if you're trying to lower it, it does. That makes a big difference.
Oh, it's really
So
numbers,
I think, add some more tofu to your life.
Yeah, man. You can just edamame.
I mean, I had a big old pile of tofu tonight. Oh, so good. I loved my dinner.
My dinner tonight is actually
all kinds of soy up in me.
What the hell's happening in the show today? No, in fact, like usually when I do anything with tofu, I eat half a block.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what
I
actually.
can't eat any less.
No, because I guess actually, because like usually if you go to get a serving of tofu, it's like, especially if you look at the packaging, it's like a quarter of the block is a serving. Like, oh yeah,
No, thank you.
no. So I have block. And that's my dinner tonight. When I get off here, I'm gonna go and cook dinner, and it's I'm doing um air fried tofu, uh, green peas,
Go ahead.
sweet potato, butternut squash, and then I put some sauce on top of it where I want. Pretty good stuff.
Yummy.
Delicious.
I had air fried tofu, just
Okay,
like
good
you.
stuff.
And I had like a Spanish rice with some like beans and tomatoes in there.
Nice.
And then I had like a big old plethora of vegetables. You can go to our Instagram and hear me. It's got a little ASMR action going
Oh,
on.
did you?
But like I think it was broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, green beans, and it's like this big old pile of vegetables. And so I gave my husband his plate, and he's like, "Yes, that looks good." I'm like, "Look at you,
Hell
all
yeah, bro.
excited about a vegetable."
Hell yeah.
Woohoo!
You did better than me this week.
Working.
I took my dinner and my lunch. I made peanut stew, which you've had before.
Oh,
Because I've made that when I went back in the day, and
good.
it's something y'all were like, that's weird, and it is weird. It's literally, I use fire roasted tomatoes, peanut butter, of all things. People are like, that's weird. Like, no, it's super good. So fire roasted tomatoes, peanut butter, thyme, salt, pepper, garlic, rice, chickpeas. I'll put bell pepper and onion in it. But the peanut butter gives it some depth and gives it some hardiness and kind of adds some fat, so it's really good. And it sounds and thyme.
Remember
and
that?
I season it with thyme,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "That's." And people think it sounds weird, and it does sound weird, but it's like really, really good. It's got an interesting flavor to it, but I love it so much, and I make it on an occasion. But yours is
Like
much more
your
close than mine.
special little treat for yourself.
Yeah. Delicious.
Yeah, I've been using a lot of purple carrot meals, which we're going to talk about. I think it's our next episode or the one after that. We're going to talk a little bit about purple carrot. They've definitely, I know for sure, helped me with my heart so far. So they have very health conscious meals. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that,
Should be interesting.
options,
when the boss gets
ideas. We have yeah, we actually are going to have a guest on that episode too. One of our dear friends who's also used purple carrot is going to come on and talk to us. And she's not vegan, but she chose a vegan meal delivery system. So that's kind of cool. Little intrigue, get you guys to listen.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about a bunch of heart healthy stuff tonight. We've talked about why a plant-based diet is great for your heart. We've talked about why it works, the different fiber, potassium, cholesterol, all that stuff. We talked about different foods you can try. So I think we've gone over a bunch of stuff that you guys can implement into your life. If anything else, David? Any last words about your heart health?
It's more than anything else, your heart is the most important organ in your body. It's what functions everything and all things. You can be brain dead, but you can't be heart dead, because then you'd be dead. So take care of your heart, eat right, exercise. Don't know.
Oh my God, that was a good one.
Finger guns.
We might have to put that on a shirt. I like that. It's a good one. Okay. And with that, oh man, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, and anywhere else you get your podcast fix. If there is an app that we have not put our podcast on, please let us know. We will get that going for you. Make sure to leave us a review. We need all the reviews you can, especially on Apple Podcasts. It helps us move up the charts and get more people to listen. Recommend us to your friends, your family, coworkers, strangers, the delivery driver. Of course, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Average Vegans. Email us at theaveragevegans@gmail.com. We want to hear about your vegan story, your favorite vegan treats, all that stuff. And you can find show notes, links, and more at theaveragevegans.com. And that is it for this week.
All right. Well, until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.